Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Churches of Central Alabama, which includes this congregation of Tuscaloosa and our sister congregation in Birmingham. We are led together by Reverend Julie Conradi. I am Mary Weeks, this morning's worship associate. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. Announcements. Please be sure to read the newsletter e-blasts on Newsnet. Anna keeps those updated with all sorts of things that are going on. On the back of our order of service is the contact information for our congregational leaders and staff. Reverend Julie and everyone, welcome your emails. Feel free to reach out. I want to remind my wonderful share recipes folks, that this Saturday, 3 to 5, Debbie Carden's going to show us how to make taco cups. Isn't that right? Yeah, taco cups. Anyway, and the craft, you guys are meeting too, right, Anna? The craft group meets at 2. Any announcements from the floor? Deb?
I'm Deb Crocker. I'm actually your finance chair on the Board of Trustees. And we are coming into the season of stewardship. And I'll send out something on Newsnet with more information, but we're going to have our stewardship luncheon to kick off this, what is our fundraising, on Sunday, March 2nd. It will be after the service, obviously, and we will have a catered lunch. You don't have to bring anything. It's going to be a variety. We're sort of mixing together chili chowder and stewardship. So we're going to have several varieties of chowders and soups and chilies, or maybe, one of each will have a variety, but anyway. So that, again, put it on your calendar, Sunday, March 2nd, we start with that, and if anyone, again, we're not cooking anything, but if anyone would be interested or willing to help with just some setup we'll have it, everything will be hot and ready to go, we're just going to set up the room and change from service to stewardship luncheon. I'd appreciate your help with that. And I think that's my message for now. Just save the date, Sunday, March 2nd.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Steve.
Hey, I'm speaking to you as President of the Board of Trustees of this church. The board's having its regular monthly meeting a week from Thursday. We always invite and encourage people if they have any suggestions or ideas about how to make things better at the church. The best way is to email us or talk personally to one of the board members before the meeting. And we want to let everybody know that during the joys and concerns time, everybody is welcome to come up at your stressful time and share what's on their heart. The board next Thursday is going to be thinking of ways that we can all live up to our covenant of this beloved community and do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Anna.
I'm the one that's been choosing the restaurants for our dinner out each month. I've run out of names, so I need some restaurant suggestions. So see me afterward, let me know.
Anyone else? The prelude prepares us for the service. lighting the chalice. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purposes. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak the truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Let us take a moment to greet our neighbors. Please stand as you're willing and able for hymn number 1028 in the Teal hymnal. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time here with us, please let the plate pass. We're just glad you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today, Split the Plate. Is it Table of Grace still?
Yes.
Table of Grace. When we gather in loving community, we remember that we do not travel alone. We share our lives as we light candles and hold each other in meditative thought and reverence. We invite you to come forward and light a candle from the common flame. You may do so in silence or tell us about what's on your heart. Please come forward.
Good morning. I'm Shampa Dara, and I'm glad to see so many people at church today. After yesterday's storm, I was very scared. Bryce and Andy don't have power. So, yeah, there are lots of places which have been affected by the storm. So I'm glad to see so many people here today.
I'm Deb Crocker, Ron, and my granddaughter turned 1 a little earlier this week. And we are skedaddling out of here as soon as the service is over because the birthday party is very soon, right after this. But the other thing I did want to remind people is that the service for Mike Adams is this afternoon. It's over at the Sunset Memorial Chapel, I think it's called. It's on Watermelon Road. Just you head up the road, through the lights to the park, and then turn left, and it's up over there. And again, visitation is at 1 and the service at 2.
I'm Sharon, and I'm lighting this for a joy. Yesterday, I went to ACLU meeting in Montgomery. It was probably about 5 or 6 hours, and it was wonderful. I would encourage everyone, if you can, to join the ACLU. You can see I made lots of notes. I got a notebook full. They really were laser focused on improving Alabama, and it was wonderful. Now, a lot of the information they went over is on websites and like Alabama Rise, but it's always good to either by Zoom or be in person to hear this again and to know that there's kindred spirits around you that think the same way. And I think there was about 130 people that were present. It was great. Did you have something to say?
Hello. My name is Police Park Melissa of BTS. I'm not. What did I say? I'm not Army. So today, oops, I'm sorry, but I'm a little consistent right now, but I'm a lot better. So I hope you have fun time and relaxing time. And then I am going to South Korea in Oceans with my color. It's all pink. And then have fun.
I'm Steve Borelli. My hometown is Elmira, New York, and this past Thursday night, the First Baptist Church, which was it's a former First Baptist Church, the building had been empty for years, burned down to the ground, and it's sad for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's sad because the last position that my late brother, who was a musician, had was organist for that church back when that congregation was in that church. So I have a lot of good memories of that building. The second reason is it's literally in the middle of downtown Elmira, and it's kind of symbolic. You know, the town has been dying since the 1970s, and this sometimes just feels like the fatal blow to see. I mean, having that building sit empty and now destroyed is really hard.
Hi, I'm Debbie Walsh-Hyman, and I am just very happy to be here today. Thank you. I just felt the need to come and be with like-minded people. Thank you.
My name is Susan McKay. Oh, no. I'm trying to take her duties very seriously. So I have the birthday cupcakes today. We have a little, whatever you call it, soiree going on. Will be very fun. But like I said, they're cupcakes. I know that Susan liked to have a cake, but I told her right off the bat when she asked me to be on the committee, I'm not cutting a cake and I'm not washing forks or putting cake on plates, but I'll bring cupcakes. And then she very quickly went, that's so fun. So that was, and then I also have a gift for Deborah for hosting the last family circle. I'm sorry, I forgot it the last 2 weeks. I'm trying hard to be Susan.
Hi, I'm Katie Clark, and I just wanted to light a candle because my brother is in a upper management position, and he's been told for corporate reasons that I don't understand fully, that even though his company is still profitable, he has to lay off about 18 people. So I just wanted to light a candle for the people who are about to be laid off, and my brother who doesn't want to do it but has been told he has to, basically, and everyone else who might be struggling during these economic times.
Okay, I'm Gene Bird, and I'd first like to say I really appreciated the sign when I drove up, and I think it's a sign that our sign survived the storm. And also, happy occasion this afternoon, we're having a birthday party for my two grand twins, and they were 16 on Valentine's Day of all days. But we're having it over the weekend.
I'll light one final candle. For any joys or concerns that remain on our hearts, may the white light of these flames bring you peace. Our speaker today is Dr. Kenya Goodson. Dr. Goodson is a visionary leader in environmental science, public health, and community advocacy with over 24 years of experience addressing critical environmental changes. As a civil engineer specializing in environmental engineering and water resources, she has dedicated her career to advancing equitable climate policies, fostering stakeholder collaboration, and championing diversity and inclusion. Her work spans climate resilience, environmental justice, public policy with a strong focus on empowering communities through education, outreach, and participatory research. Welcome, Dr. Goodson.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me again to come and talk to you all today. I was here last time talking to you about the work that we were doing with Hometown Organizing Project. I'm going to talk about that again, but I'm also going to talk about some of the things that I've been doing since then. I had presentation, but I left my computer at home, so please accept my apologies for that. So the topic of my discussion is from awareness to action, advocating for a sustainable future. And I think when we come and have these talks and we talk about climate and we talk about all of the issues that surround climate, particularly in Alabama, because I want to kind of focus on that, but also talk about beyond Alabama, it's important that we come back from our discussions with what can I do as, a citizen, as someone who's an American. What can I do to bring change into what's happening around us? And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been doing around that and how I feel like all of you could be a part. Does that sound good? All right. So I won't go into talking about myself, but I'm going to give some stats on Alabama. And I did this presentation. I'm a Fulbright specialist, and I went overseas in November, and I'm actually going back next month to help them do research around agriculture. And we know that agriculture is very important in the state of Alabama. And so I did go to Suriname, and I talked to them about some of the things that were happening here that was related. So even though we have all of this that is happening in the state of Alabama with sea level rise, with droughts, with issues with our food sources, this is happening all over the world. And so as global citizens, it's good for us to be aware of it when we're working on our own work, right? So Alabama is mostly rural, with 95% land use being rural, and 41% of the population that live in rural environments. Agriculture and forestry are the two top industries. Alabama is a biodiversity hotspot. How many people knew that? I should have known. I'm in good company. I should have known. These are smart people here, right? And I've done a lot of work with organizations that champion biodiversity and how we can, in Alabama, keep our biodiversity hotspots intact. We have a high poverty rate. The last data statistics that I looked at was 14%, and that's significantly higher than the national average. And some of our environmental problems in Alabama is sanitation, and we've heard a lot about failing septic systems within Alabama, sea level rise, severe weather, and air pollution. And then we're also vulnerable to climate change. So we've already had these problems, but now we're more vulnerable because of climate change. And what I would say to people who are anti-environment and they're so pro-business, right? We have a lot of that's happening, is that climate change is going to affect everybody. People feel like, well, it's not going to happen to me. I have this, I have that. It's not going to impact me. It's just going to impact them, right? We have this very not so good us versus them. If it's not happening to me, it doesn't matter. But climate change is going to impact all of us if we don't make make significant changes, right? I have volunteered. Not only have I done, work with environmental organizations, I've done a lot of volunteer work, and we're going to talk about some of the things that we can be involved in. Let's see, scroll down. So one of the things I talked about when I was here was community organizing. And Hometown Organizing Project is just one of the organizations, and somebody mentioned Alabama Arise. All of these organizations on the state level and on the grassroots level within Birmingham and other areas, they're very engaged in community engagement. And that is having everyday people who live in the community to be a voice to what is happening in their own backyard, to what they're seeing with their family and loved ones, and how they can be a part of the change. And also, we need to build political power. I'm a Democrat, but I want this is me personally, I'm a Democrat, but for intents and purposes, let's talk about what we can do as citizens, as people who care. How can we build political power in the state of Alabama, right? We are very red, but as I mentioned, climate change impacts all of us. It impacts everyone. So how can we build community engagement and power around that? That's a question I'm just going to leave out, for people to think about. In developing climate adaptation, that's going to be a very important part of moving forward. How do we adapt to what's happening? We know that we need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, right? But what do we do in the meantime while we, do this? How do we prepare our families to be protected from all these storms that are happening, from the droughts that are happening, from what's going to happen to our food sources if we don't make changes? Another project that I've worked on, I've worked in Louisiana with a program called the Collaborative Data Analysis, which is CODA, Science with the People. And what we're doing is, this is not in Alabama, but I think Alabama could probably use this at some point, is talking to community residents about what is happening in their yard and getting them involved in the analysis, right? So we gather the data, we gather the information, and then we talk to residents about what is their input into what you see. So what we're looking to do is to gather government data, so they can't say, well, some scientists did it, they would have to acknowledge, okay, this comes directly from the government. And then look and see how it correlates to the petrochemicals that are in Louisiana. Right, yeah, yeah. And so that's part of the project that we'll be working on. And then the community is going to come in and be a part of that process. And then we want to also get students engaged at Dillard University specifically. I mentioned earlier in my presentation that I went to Suriname under Fulbright. And what we're wanting to do at Anton de Kom University, which is where I was, is to talk about addressing climate impacts by sustainable agriculture. So looking at what are the current climate impacts, what are the agricultural practices, and how can we allow those practices to become smart practices. And Last, I'm gonna stop here, but before I go, I want to talk about a couple of things that I've been doing. Now, who in here has heard of Climate Reality Project? Climate Reality Project. That is an organization that was started by Al Gore after he, left. They didn't win. They didn't win that year against Bush. Huh?
They were told that.
You're right. You're right. We know about those polls, right? So, so Al Gore started Climate Reality Project to address some of the climate concerns in our area. So they have trainings that you can be a part of. And so I encourage you to look into getting involved in those trainings and get kind of your certificate. We also have a chapter here in Alabama, and we're wanting to grow that chapter. So I would love for you to come to our next meeting. The last meeting that we had John Todd from Energy Alabama to come to talk to us about the Public Service Commission. Now, why is that important to talk about the Public Service Commission? Can you make this a little... Okay, what about Alabama Power? I heard someone else say something. Well, the election season is over for it now, but it's going to come up again. So what we're wanting people to do is to learn what the Public Service Commission is. So they are the regulatory agency that regulates the utility companies, and they regulate a lot of other companies as well. What people don't know about them. People don't know about, like how they, create the rates, that we have that affects, like our power bills. So we want to get people more knowledgeable about that. We want people to become more knowledgeable about Southern Company. And so we're going to be having some educational opportunities. We're wanting to show a film. We're working with another organization to, show a film to people to learn about, like what's happening around our energy, right? Because we can't push for what I would like to see in Alabama solar energy without informing the community about why that's important. Why does that matter to me? I don't care. I mean, I don't care what kind of power we use. I just want to turn my lights on. I mean, most people, that's their thought process. But we need to help people to understand why it's important for them to learn about these things. I'm also, I've been a part of Black Warrior River Keepers and also Cahaba River Society. Our watershed is the Black Warrior watershed, and Black Warrior has done a lot of very amazing work here in Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. And so I encourage people to learn about being a part of Black Warrior River Keeper. Maybe give a donation because they're doing very important work. They're patrolling our watersheds. They're, making sure that polluters are held accountable. And that's going to help, our overall impact for the environment. So is that all I have to say? Yes, actually. That's all I have to say. I hope this was informative on some levels. And I want to give my email address out because I want people to stay in touch with me if they want to get involved. So if you have a pen and paper, or Shampa can give them this information, it is drklgoodson2013@gmail.com. Okay, I'm sorry. I had a PowerPoint. I promise I had a PowerPoint.
We will pass it on to UUTuscaloosa.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, does anybody have any questions before I step down? Yes, sir.
I have a question about Alabama Power. I have heard that it is the most expensive power company in the world. I mean, in our world, in the U.S.
We have some of the highest utility bills, like in the country. I don't know about the world. I'm not sure, but I know in the country.
That was just a slip of the tongue.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to add to that. I mean, we have the highest utility bills.
Yeah.
Because we're some of the worst insulated and types of buildings We actually don't have the highest rates of the United States. My brother sells solar up in New England, and they probably pay 39 cents a kilowatt hour, because they break it, they have a delivery fee, they have a generation fee, they stack all these fees on top of it. Ours is about 12 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that right?
something,
So our actual rate is quite low, but the style of building that we have here in the South, under-insulated, mobile homes, right? Some of more of the rural homes are not very well built. That will stack up the actual bill, under extreme conditions, extreme hot, extreme cold. But the rate itself is not bad.
The other thing I heard though is that they will not buy that, solar power, so if people get solar on their roofs, they can't, and they have extra stuff, that, they're discouraged. It's not on that.
yeah, there's a solar tax in Alabama. Did you?
The rate that we pay, and this relates to public service commission, but is way more complicated than what you see on the kilowatt hour bill. Meaning, in Alabama, a lot of your tax money goes towards construction of Alabama power facilities. So if you calculate the amount of taxes, the amount of money that's going towards the construction of facilities, many which never get used. Now, that's the very complicated, convoluted part of the Public Service Commission and Alabama Power. I mean, if you go back and historically look at the number of facilities, not just in Alabama, but Alabama, Mississippi.
Because the Southern Company, yeah.
Yes, that were never completed. Or either were completed and ran for a short period of time. It's a very complicated story. I mean, you just have to figure out whether you think there's even a problem. But in order to understand the cost, you have to understand how the Southern Company facilities are financed, which includes federal, state, and local taxes. So it's a very complicated story, and the math of figuring out what you're paying as an individual has to go way beyond just your kilowatt hour. So that's what makes it so complicated.
And people need to be aware, it probably is complicated, but people need to be aware of this, that this is happening, And Energy Alabama is doing a lot of work with this. So definitely, I don't know, are you guys familiar with Energy Alabama? They're a statewide organization. They're educational organizations that, they've been talking a lot about IRA, and helping people to understand about insulating their houses, which goes to what you were saying, about, people having their houses properly insulated as homeowners. So I think all of that is really important, and we want to educate the community about the Public Service Commission and all of these other kind of complicated things, that we don't understand. I don't understand everything about it myself, but I do know that they're responsible, for the type of energy sources we have, and they regulate that. So we're all going to be learning, in this, and I would love for UU to be a part of that. Any?
We are engaged right now, our church is in a program called Green Sanctuary, and we are trying to make our own activities more climate change aware. Do you have any suggestions towards what our congregation could do?
I think being connected with a climate reality project is a really good. That's my feeling, because we are going to make sure that people get all of the information around climate. Like I'm actually on the education committee for a climate reality project here in Alabama, and we had a very excellent meeting on the Public Service Commission. And I think it's actually recorded, so I'll have to ask them if if we can get access to that, so I can show that to you all. And then I also think, I won't say do your research. I hate to say that. I don't like to tell people do your research, but I would just keep up to date with what's happening here, and what's happening. Also, what is happening in DC. Because there's a lot of rollbacks that are happening in DC, and so we need to really be, looking at what they're doing. Even though sometimes I turn off the news because it's so much, and I'm like, okay, I can't right now. But at some point we need to see as far as what Congress is doing, and then also some of these executive orders that are happening. So, someone else had a question. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I work a lot with looking at poverty here in the state of,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think a lot of people realize, even though in Tuscaloosa, the poverty rate is 20%.
Mm-hmm.
20%.
Mhm.
The literacy rate, the illiteracy rate is 24% here in this county. But most people don't realize the amount of food that is having to be sent into these counties, especially as you get down around the Black Belt area. And we are an agricultural community that doesn't even know how to plant a garden anymore. And I think back to the Depression when my grandmother had a garden straight up a hill and she kept 20 people alive. We don't even know how to, we keep telling kids, you gotta go to college to get a degree so you can go out and get an executive position.
Yeah.
We're not saying, here, let me show you how to plant a tomato.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can have a tomato sandwich.
Yeah. And we probably need to have more agricultural jobs, and have people learning how to farm, have more farmers, and have more people that understand agriculture. I don't know about the different kind of positions that they have, but I think that is so, so important. Were you finished, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
And going back to the being penalized for having solar energy on your home. I mean, I moved here 3 years ago, and I mean, my jaw just dropped. That it was a bad thing to put solar panels on your house.
Mm-hmm. Like a negative.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't get it. How can that can't even be legal in my little humble opinion.
We have that rule we have our rule on the dockets, and we got to figure out how to address that as citizens. We have to say, look, we don't want to be taxed for solar. So what are the steps in doing that? And there are organizations that can help us with that. I don't have the answer to that. I'm trying to get on board with them and learn about them, and Climate Reality Project is a way for us to educate ourselves. Yes, ma'am.
What do the trainings teach you for Climate Reality?
They talk about different climate issues that are happening across the world and what people are doing. They have a large database of information that you can have access to as well. It's a lot. I don't know if I could tell you everything, but I could send you information. Shampa, I'm going to make sure that I create something to send everyone so that you'll have it. Yeah, and they have the virtual trainings. I did mine in 2021, so I'll see when the next one is. And they have classes and things that you can take to educate yourself. Oh, I have it on my presentation. Yeah, there is one. Yes. Yes.
Maybe we can include all that
Mm-hmm.
in a message.
Yeah, I'll send everything. I'll make sure to get everything to you all.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I'll make sure to do that. Yeah.
I know you have worked a lot with waterways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How could we be informed about the waterway pollution and how we could help?
Are you talking about here in Tuscaloosa?
In Tuscaloosa?
I I would subscribe to the Black Warriors newsletter, and I can also send that in a message. Black Warrior does a lot when it comes to our watershed. They do cleanups. Has anyone done cleanups with Black Warrior? Yeah, they're always doing cleanups all the time, and they go after polluters. Okay, they go after polluters. So if it's something going on and somebody is dumping something and it's not supposed to be there, they're going to reach out to those people and say, listen, we need you to stop doing that, or we're going to sue you. I mean, that's kind of how it is, you know. And they've done a lot to, you know, help people, you know, fix that, you know, fix those issues. So I would definitely subscribe to them. Just make sure you pick up trash. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think for us personally, just making sure that we recycle, you know, making sure that, you know, we don't throw things on the ground. I know y'all don't do that. I'm just saying, as far as like what a resident could do. I just think it's the most practical things. I don't have a really big strategic thing as far as just people making sure that they take care of what they have. I hope that's an appropriate answer. Does someone else have a question?
I have a question, but I want to ask another question. Is the Hurricane Creek cleanup still happening?
I'm sure they are. I haven't really seen much about Hurricane Creek. I need to kind of keep up with that because that's here in Tuscaloosa as well. Yeah, he's very awesome. Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure he's doing those.
The first question that I had was, is there anything in agriculture that needs to change for environmental reasons here in Alabama?
Here in Alabama.
No, I mean, are you aware? I'm just wondering.
I'm not aware of what's happening in Alabama around agriculture. I do know from the work that I've done so far in Suriname is that there needs to be adaptability to the heat. And that may involve the way you plant your crops, the time that you plant your crops, and like what kind of irrigation, because sometimes irrigation can be unsustainable as well. So how can you look at, you know, maybe tapping into groundwater without, you know, like polluting it? Planting crops during a different time, like when it's more rain. So you have to kind of look at rainfall patterns. As far as Alabama, I'm not 100% sure, but I would like to understand that more because I think that's going to be very important.
Our growing season has changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's moved up.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, like Florida used to have, like Minnesota.
Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
kinds of plants.
Mm-hmm. 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 And then you got to also think about like protecting your agriculture. So like protection practices. So like, you know, we talked a lot about greenhouses when I was over there, and there's other ways to do it other than using a greenhouse. You can, you know, like put, you know, like maybe a tape or something over it to shadow the sun and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that they've looked at. And I could have showed you pictures, but I didn't bring my computer. But they call it protective agriculture practices. So, all right, I'm gonna give the floor back to you all. I don't want to take too much time, but thank you for allowing me to come talk.
Thank you, Dr. Tripp. Please stand if you're willing and able for hymn number 168. In honor of the legacy of our ancestors, let us carry the flame forward as we extinguish the chalice. As we extinguish this chalice flame, may the warmth of its light remain within us, guiding our steps and our hearts. Let us carry forward the strength of this community, the courage to speak truth, and the hope that transformation is possible. In each breath we take, may we remember the work of love, justice, and healing is ours to continue, both here and beyond these walls. Let us go in peace with the light of this gathering to illuminate your way. The service is over. Please join us for coffee and conversation. Thank you all for being here, and may you go in peace.
Happy birthday to anybody.